Let's talk about the PBE. Riot is cooking for the next patch, apparently. Apparently they're really cooking. Are they cooking? Well, let's find out. Aali, W cooldown, 20 seconds, all ranks to 20 to 16. R1 damage, base. The up 30 early, down later 30. AP scaling, 25 instead of 30%. Base AD scaling, untouched. R2 damage, up by 10 early, down by 10 late. AP scaling, down by 5%. Execute scaling, up to 3x at 30% health, unchanged. R cooldown, from 100 to 60 to 120 to 60. Okay. So what is the goal here? I guess the goal here is to make Aali better in early game, in all-ins with ultimates, and worse in late game. And, I mean, even though her Shroud duration goes down in late game, the reality is that it's the spell she maxes last anyway, and you get one shot per teamfight anyway. So I think this doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's just basically slightly better early game for Aali, slightly worse for late game. Also, here, 20 seconds extra on rank 1 ult is huge on Aali, because she's an early game centric champion. So if she fucks up an ult and she doesn't have it for a long time, that's a big deal. Alright. I don't think these changes are gonna make Aali OP or anything. Alright, sure. Cassiopeia. Stats. Mana. 350 plus 60 per level to 400 plus 40 per level. Cost on Q goes down by 20 at max rank. AP scaling on Q goes down by 10%. Cost on W goes from 70 to 110 to 70 to 90. Cost on E goes to 40 at all ranks. I mean, there's no way. I mean, these are just straight up. These are just buffs, bro. These are just buffs. She's not gonna have nearly as much mana issues. She always had mana issues, even though she went tier and Seraph. I mean, this is nice. Also, by the way, these type of changes also make Cassiopeia have an easier time starting Dawn's Ring and not tier, by the way. But overall, I mean, this is straight up just a buff to the champion. It wouldn't surprise me if the win rate in China and fucking in Diamond and Emerald, when it's like usually very high, goes like to fucking the moon with these changes. I mean, this is for sure a buff. It doesn't matter if she loses 10% scale on Q. It just doesn't. This is very good for Cassiopeia. I mean, this is really, really, really good buffs. Arelia, another change. Base health up by 40. What the fuck? Is she gonna be a tank level 1 now? Base HP region goes down to 6, and passive buff duration goes down by 1 second. So again, these changes are the same as before. They make Arelia arguably better in elite level and worse in low MMR. Because again, changes like this, having your passive have an uptime, this is better used in hands of challenger players and master players and whatever. And then again, health region is a low elo skewed stat. Health, yeah, early game skewed, so more of a high elo thing. Okay, cool. Then we have a Yasuo change. Yasuo E damage is gonna go base up by 10 to 130. Scaling is gonna be removed. AP scaling is gonna be the same. And then bonus damage per cast is gonna be 25% at all ranks. So if I'm reading this correctly, Yasuo E is just pretty much doing straight up way more damage, especially in lane. Wow, that's gonna matter a lot, honestly. That's gonna matter a lot. That's kind of crazy. I think his E is gonna do a lot of damage now in early game. Wow. Okay. Sure. Yon Q damage. Emax Yasuo comeback. I doubt it. I doubt this is enough to make Emax come back. Maybe 3 points. Maybe 3 points into Q. I don't know. Yon Q damage. Base is gonna go up by 20. So this is gonna be now same as Yasuo Q. Okay, that's cool. Total AD scaling is gonna go down by 5%. Crit modifier is gonna go down. This stacks with his passive. X 0.9 crit modifier. This means total AD scaling from crits is 147 to 140. Okay. So his crit modifier is gonna be worse. I don't know if this crit modifier is the same as Yasuo's. I assume it's not. I assume Yasuo has a better one. Alright. W shield duration will go back to 1 second. So a while ago, Riot made it so his W shield duration was 1.5, because originally it was 1. And 1.5 shield duration on Yon W made it so Yon was basically just more brain dead to play, because he could block a lot of more damage, even though he would fuck up the timing, and he could like tank tower shots. Now this is gonna make a huge difference because Yon will not even be able to like tank tower shots anymore that much. I mean this is gonna take a while for people to get used to again, back to the old version, but yeah, okay. Interesting. This is a pretty big nerf. E cooldown is gonna go down by 4 seconds, which is, I don't know. I mean, early game centric buff, right? This is an ability max second. Probably this E buff is probably a little bit better on mid lane, to be fair. And then the R cooldown is gonna be 20 seconds more late game. What the fuck? I don't really know where we're going with Yon. So, okay, so the way I see this is, first 9 levels, the champion is better. Unless maybe this is a little bit worse, but still, you get more AD. At level 9, you have a bigger spike now. And you get E cooldown reduced in lane a lot. But then mid to late game, he's probably just worse, right? He's probably just worse with all these changes. Like, once you're like level 13 into the game, I would just say he's worse. So, honestly, I don't really know where we're going with these Yon changes. We have Zat. What the fuck is Riot doing to Zat? Base damage on Q is going up to 240. What the fuck are they smoking? Are they retarded? Are they stupid? Base AD scaling down by 10%. I don't know why they do this, man. I don't know why they do this. It should be the opposite, man. You should give him a better scale and less base damage. Incentivize that. Promote him to snowball so he uses gold better. Like, I hate it. This type of changes just make it so Zat players buy their own shield, AFK at tower, get like level 9, and then they're like 30 CS down 1v1, and then they fucking all in you, and they just kill you. Like, what is this? What is this? E cooldown is gonna be 4 seconds at all ranks. So I guess this incentivizes Zat to max W second a bit more. E cost is gonna go up by 10. Okay, so that's definitely gonna matter because Zat can have energy issues, especially if he doesn't combo well, and especially without a blue. And then the R cooldown is also gonna be up by 20 in late game. Wow, Riot is making a lot of these champions have long cooldowns in late game. That is interesting. That is interesting. I mean, actually, this makes it so he's a little bit more reliant on maybe buying Action Mark. But yeah. Overall, I mean, are these buffs to the champion? I would say also the E gets... The E random... Also, I forgot to read this. Like, the E randomly just gets like free damage also. I don't know. To me, this looks like buffs. It's like... Q is just better. E is just straight up better. Like, what? This has to be buffs. Like, maybe it's gonna take some time for people to get used to 10 more energy and whatever, but... Come on, this just has to be buffs. Like, what? What is this? Bro, Zat's ban rate is gonna go up to 90% or what? Okay, here we have the big changes of the patch. Null Magic Mantle is going to 20 MR instead of and 400 gold, which is 100% a nerf to the item. Huge. I mean, that is huge. However, this also changes things a little bit, right? Because let's say you invade level 1 and you get first blood. Now it means that champions can buy Null Magic Mantle on literally first back. If they get like first blood, let's say. But yeah, I mean, this is still a nerf to MR, very good nerf, and you know, mages are gonna be a little bit more happier. Then we have a huge set of boots changes. So every boots is getting nerfed in League, which is questionable. I mean, boots are OP, don't get me wrong. Almost nobody ever doesn't buy boots. The only champion that I can remember right now that doesn't necessarily buy boots is like Draven. I know Gumayushi did it at like MSI and Worlds a lot. He played like no boots Draven. There's like maybe some other champions that can do it. But the reality is that boots are very OP in League. And they probably do need to be nerfed, at least some of them. Right? And Cassiopeia simultaneously gets some indirect buffs by boots being weaker because she doesn't buy them. Merchants, 100 more cost and 5 less MR. I mean, yes. I personally think this is questionable. I personally, like, reading through all of this, every boots is getting double nerfed. And I honestly thought Riot would just do one layer of nerfs. So my suggestion was, make it 20 MR for Mercs or make it 100 gold more expensive. Now what Riot did is both the nerfs, which I suggested. I wanted only one of them. So 100 more gold expensive and 5 less MR is gonna make Mercs a lot weaker, especially an item to rush, okay? And this will probably make it so mages will no longer handshake Mercs versus Mercs, and champions are gonna probably skip more boots rush, and they're gonna go more into Lost Chapter and an item first and then boots. Steel plated caps, plated steel caps. 100 more gold expansive, 5 less armor, but passive block goes up. Yes, overall still nerfs to the boots, but however, I find it weird that plated steel caps are getting less of a nerf than mercs. That is really weird to me. I think they're a bigger problem than mercs, arguably, but okay. But then here is where I don't really understand where we're going. So for sure, mercs and Tabai are the best boots in the game, and those two for sure need both nerfs. Ionian boots are questionable if they actually need a nerf. 100 more gold expansive, because they already got a nerf already a couple of months ago, if you guys remember. They got, what is it, 50 gold more expansive, I think? Or wait, what did they get? No, they got 5 less haste, right? That was the nerf they got already. IMO, they're one of the weakest boots in the game right now. And it's kind of weird to see them getting nerfed so much. 100 gold more expansive as well. And Summoner haste is going to be to 10. I definitely think they should have just gotten Summoner haste nerfed and just gold being the same. Or just the gold and not the Summoner haste. I don't know, it's weird. Sword boots are losing more magic pin. Obviously, I kind of get why. Because honestly, 18 magic pin is a lot when these boots only give 20 MR. But I think, yeah, I don't know. Sword boots used to give 15 magic pin back in the old days, by the way. But yeah, sword boots, I don't know. Holy shit. I mean, this is another nerf to mages, I guess. So while mages are getting buffed indirectly by these two changes, they're also getting nerfed with boots. Then you have berserkers. So attack speed on berserkers is 5% less. I think these berserkers are the boots that are getting the least amount of nerfs in this patch. Because honestly, 5% attack speed is not a lot. They're still the same boots. And I guess this is why Yasuo is getting compensation buff on E, I would assume, because of this. Boots of Sweetness, I think this is very, very, very deserved. 100 more gold more expansive. Boots of Sweetness is very, very OP. Okay, sure. Twisted Fate a bit sad and stuff like that, and Senna and whatever. Abyssal Mask, MR Shred goes up to 30%. I still am a firm believer that Abyssal Mask is one of the most underrated League of Legends items in the game. And is secretly OP. And then we have Widsent. Old recipe is going to be a dagger. The new one is going to have a record bow with 2 record bows. So kind of like Terminus. And then it's going to be basically same gold. On hit damage though is 15 to 80 breakpoints, 18 to 18 to 40 to 80 linear from level 8 to 18. Comparison here, TLDR starts higher but scales slower. Buff through level 12, then a nerf until breaking even at level 18. So Widsent is better rush item, but worse in second and third item, because you're between level 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is where Widsent is slightly worse. The worst part is level 14, it looks like, and level 15. Yeah, okay, it makes Widsent be better a rush item. Doesn't really matter though. Widsent's not that good of an item and champions are not gonna rush it, so I would say overall it's a nerf to the item. And that's the patch. I don't know. They're cooking with some of these champions. I'm questionable about some of these things. Yeah, I question some of these things, but the boots changes are at least very interesting. They're gonna shake up the meta. They're definitely gonna change the way you play laning phase a lot. Certain champions are gonna be indirectly nerfed. Like, let me give you an example. Zoe is indirectly nerfs with boots rush because she kind of wants boots rush instead of Lost Chapter rush in most cases, and they're more expensive, right? Most of the boots are more expensive. However, she's also indirectly buffed because mercs are weaker, so it's like, you know, double-edged sword, I guess. Twisted Fate, for example, is also kind of unhappier, right? Because his Sweetness boots are more expensive, but at the same time, I guess mercs are weaker, so maybe people will buy them less. I don't know. People will still buy mercs mainly for tenacity.